There is a command you can use to determine the status of all of your network connections. We talked about ports in the lecture, so in Linux I'll run the netstat command. Um, it's obviously it's a pretty long list, so I'll show you a little trick. You type netstat pipe, which is the button above the enter key, so shift and then that little symbol you see above the enter key. It looks like two little dash lines, one on top of the other, right on top of the backslash. So the pipe, and then I'll do the more command, which instead of just having everything flash by real quick, I can hit the space bar and page down. You can also, in some versions of Linux, you can do less, and it kind of does the same thing. But you see the protocol, and then the type, the state of the connection. So most of these are connected. And usually it'll show you the port as well. In this particular version of the command I'm running, it's not showing me the port. By the way, I hit Q to exit from that less mode. I can do the same thing in Windows, so I'll run netstat in Windows. It's going to take a minute for this to run, but you've got the source and destination. So you can see, in my case, from my IP address, which is 192.168.1.3, you see the local port that I'm listening on. So those are all the real high numbers, like I was talking about in the lecture. That that the locally bound port, when you're connecting with someone else, that both sides have to bind to a port. So you can see I'm connected to lots of web servers there. Where on the right-hand side you'll see a host name : HTTPS. So if it's a well-known port number, it'll do the name of the service. Instead of saying 443, it says HTTPS. And on the left-hand side, in the left-hand column, it's just the port number because it's just a local port number. So for example, 42,400 is not a standard port number. It's a very high number. It just uses that to dynamically bind to a port locally. So you can kind of get a sense for what all those connections are established. So I have connections with all those devices. If you want to know more about those connections, you can read RFC 793, and I think they list in there all the possible states for a connection that you might see in netstat.